Um, I wanted to do a video basically telling about this book and talking a little bit about my experience with this book. Um, those of you who have watched some of my videos before know that last year I was doing shadow work, and I mainly used this book to do it, and the experience was amazing. I may actually be going through more shadow work this year. There's just a lot of myself that I need to work on, and over the course of last year I came to really realize how much that I was keeping bottled up and suppressed inside, and but that will probably be a discussion for another video. And I do have another book actually that I'm thinking of using, or maybe two books actually, in conjunction with each other. But this book is The Dark Goddess Dancing with the Shadow, and it's by Marsha Stark and Ginny Stern. I'm not sure, but here's the spelling of their names. This book, you will have some of the dark goddesses that they have dealt with in this book are Lilith, Inanna, Pele, Medusa, Kali, Sekhmet, Hecate, and the Triple Goddess. I did not work with all of these goddesses. I did not work with Sekhmet, Hecate, or the Triple Goddess. And I'm debating whether or not I will. If I do, I really think I will at least do Sekhmet. In the past few years, there's been a few times that she seemed to, past year or two, there were a few times she seemed to have popped up, and I'm thinking maybe that is something I do need to work with. I do need to work with her. So, but for the rest of the goddesses, there were some that I really connected with. Some I didn't. Like, I didn't really connect with Pele. Pele has to do with dealing with that. Some of what it is, she's dealing with that anger, and I don't feel, or maybe that's why I don't feel that there's this really deep anger that I need to work on. There are the other underlying causes of that anger are actually some of the things I dealt with some of these other goddesses in here. And so maybe by the time I got to Pele, I was already working through some of that. I don't know. But what I did was, what this book has is, it talks about some of the myth of that goddess, telling her story. Not a full story. And even the authors recognize there are different variations of the different myths of the gods and goddesses. So she basically, or they rather, basically work with at least one of the myths. So they'll tell basically their story using one of the myths. Then what they'll have is, a lot of the time, sometimes it's like a group ritual that they did, because this is also based on their experiences. They discuss their personal experiences working with the goddess, a group experience in that how they might have done a group ritual with a group of women, and then or at the end of that, then each also discusses their own personal experience working with that particular goddess. And what I did, and I found to be very helpful, is while doing this, I would research the goddess, because like I said, there are various myths, various versions of the myths, and obviously we even see that in Greek and Roman mythology, Egyptian mythology, Hindu mythology. There are different versions to the different stories. So what I did was, I went online and I researched the different goddesses that I was working with at that time. And so I went to different sources and things, and what I would do is, for some, like I would, this book I showed before is like this is my witchy journal. Um, I can't say all things witchy are in here, because in the back I do have like a brain dump section where it's whatever is happening during the day that I feel I have to jot this down for whatever reason. And so I have that like in the back. That's, that's my brain dump. Sometimes my brain dump has to deal with meal plans, so whatever, or a grocery list, or something I wanted to do. But I'm gonna say 96% of this is all my pagan witchy stuff. And so what I did was, I actually like this whole myth that I found on Lilith, and I did not want to write it out, so I printed it out and then I just pasted it in the book. And also some pictures of Lilith. Here I found like a prayer to Lilith, or an invocation to Lilith, and I printed that out, put it in here. And then what I would also do is I would write either what I experienced with working with this goddess, what I was feeling, just even in the moment of reading from here, or when I researched that goddess. I would write down what I was feeling and what resonated with me, how it made me come to realize in certain aspects, without getting too deep into it, because a lot of it is very personal, but it made me realize, wow, I didn't even realize that was a thing for me, or that was bothering me, or that's something I needed to work on. And so it would trigger those aha moments, and it helped me deal with some of my past scars, so to speak. So what I also would do is, I don't know if I have them in here. If I put it in here, I probably, here. What I also did was I would print out images of some of the deities. For Kali, I have, I think I have her image in 2 oracle decks, but in the, the Goddesses Oracle deck, or I'm sure there's more to the title than that, by Doreen Virtue. There's a picture of Kali, and her Kali, I don't know, I really connect with her, that image that she uses for that Kali. But I would get images of the deity, so when I was working with Lilith, I had printed out what, this is a more common image of Lilith or Ishtar or Inanna. Not Lilith, I'm sorry, Ishtar or Inanna. Why? I'm stuck on Lilith. And here, this, I just loved and adored this image of Lilith. I found this online, I printed it out, and I just love this, and I am definitely going to keep this, and I'm going to frame this one, and then whenever I can set up another Divine Feminine altar, her picture's definitely going up there. As you can see, I did have a great connection with Lilith, and I had a great connection with Kali, but it's not the first time I've worked with Kali, so that could be it too. That I've had already established a relationship with her. I didn't quite connect, like I said, with Pele. Not really much with Inanna, but some with Medusa. So, but yeah, I would definitely recommend this book. I would recommend this and use it as a starting off point in your shadow work, obviously. It's a very thin book, and I did not just read straight through it. I would just read the section on the goddess that I was working with at that time. Initially, I was doing like a month by month thing, and then I almost felt, in some instances, I felt like I'm rushing through the process to get through that month, which I thought would be long enough. Some instances, I felt like I don't really need this whole month. So early on, I just kind of stopped that and just went along as I felt to go. The last few months in the year were real hectic and busy, and I didn't really do anything with this book. So, and that's why I didn't finish it. And I might do all the rest of the goddesses. I haven't decided yet, but I know at least with Sekhmet I'm going to do. So I would suggest this book definitely. Remember that some of the there are some rituals in here. It's not like seconds off, like saying, okay, not a ritual. It's written into, the process. But know that they're pretty much all group rituals. I would say if you are called to do these rituals, tailor it, especially if you're doing it solitary. Some were things that even solitary I couldn't do. So yeah, like I said, I would definitely recommend this book. I thought it was amazing. I really did. And I also like that you hear the personal experience of the authors as well. That was another one in another book, Awakening Shakti. And I don't remember if I did a review on that. If I did, maybe I will. But the author had a lot of anecdotal experiences in there, laid out way different. This one you clearly see it's marked. So and so's experience. Yeah. So you have like here. This is Marsha's experience. And then the next section will be the other author's experience. But in the Awakening Shakti, which is an amazing book, it's the author's anecdotal experiences are woven throughout the book. So, yes, I would definitely recommend this. And if any of you have read it or do read it, I would love to hear what you think. So, thank you for watching, and blessed be.